kind of the story of the night. I guess, I mean, he clearly wasn't in the rotation going into the night. What went into that decision? Why did you decide to go to him, and what did you think of him the last 17 minutes?
He was great. He was the key to the game. He stayed ready. He was out of the rotation just because it's hard to play 10 guys. And, frankly, Brandon and Moses have earned the minutes they're getting. And we obviously needed him. The game called for JK. Just with Portland's youth and athleticism, we needed to be able to match that and be able to score against their switches. And so I was so happy for JK that he stayed ready and came in and produced the way he did.
How much does this shift your thoughts on him being in or out of the rotation moving forward?
I think every night's going to be different with this team. That's what I'm finding out. What we need each night seems to be different depending on the matchup, depending on how the game's going, and so it's hard to predict what's going to happen each night. It's also hard to play 10 or 11 guys. So I don't think we know. I think I said it to you guys last week. I mean, we have a deep team, deep roster, but we don't have roster clarity in terms of who's going to play every single night. And so everybody's just got to stay ready. And I'm really proud of JK that he did that, and he was really the reason we won.
Steve, how would you describe what you saw before late third quarter and into the fourth?
Well, I thought Portland was fantastic defensively. We couldn't get anything going in the first half. They had ball pressure on every single guy who touched the ball. So they took us out of all of our stuff. At one point I looked, we had 12 assists and 15 turnovers, mid-third, late third. That's not like us. So I give Portland the credit. They have a young, hungry team, and they controlled most of the game. And then obviously Steph took over, and then Jonathan really changed the game.
You have now the next 4 games away from home, and obviously playing at home gives you that upper hand with your fan base. It hypes up your guys. How are you guys planning on going away basically for the next 4 games and trying to keep this momentum going, keep the wins before coming back?
It's really just about the process and our goals each game, our focus. We're really focusing on defending without fouling so that the game can keep going, which plays into our favor, and then taking care of the ball. And Portland forced us into a lot of turnovers tonight, but we did a better job the fourth quarter of taking care of it and executing. So when we go out on the road, those are the things we focus on, and we're playing really good teams, so it's going to be a difficult trip.
Steve, it feels like these athletic teams have given you problems all year. Do you feel like when you go against a team going in now, you kind of know we got to play our athletic lineup or whatever the case may be? I
mean, I think that's a great point, and we talk about it every day. I've really been patient and hoping to get our first unit, from the last couple of years into a good groove. It's just easier to play and to coach when everybody knows exactly where they fit in. And role players, it's easier to play a role when, there's kind of a set rotation and, the stars are playing well and all that. So everything, the puzzle kind of fits. So to be honest, the puzzle hasn't fit this year. And we've had a lot of guys playing well, but we may have to think about, moving the starting lineup around game to game, depending on who we're facing. I'd still prefer to get something solid, but we haven't really established anything this year. And we're a quarter of the way through, so there's definitely, a lot of thought that's going to have to go into this.
Steve, I believe that you guys had 15 turnovers, 12 assists first 3 quarters, but then 8 assists, only 2 turnovers that final fourth quarter. What really tightened up over the final 12 minutes?
I thought Jonathan loosened the game up with his scoring inside. They were switching everything, and they've got a lot of really long, strong athletes. And so the first 3 quarters we were, having to deal with that athleticism and pressure. And when JK came in, it loosened up the pressure because he was able to get to the rim and score.
Steve, that that early part of the fourth where Dario had a 3 and then also a layup just to get you guys close. To get some momentum there, how important was that early stretch of the fourth?
Yeah, that was big. Steph really, got us going there, late third, mid third and late third. And then the next group came in and really held down the fort. Did a good job. Dario was great, as we talked about. JK was the story of the game, and still the ultimate luxury to be able to bring Chris Paul in to to run that group. So they did a really good job.
Steve, Jonathan's obviously been up and down, had some really good games and some really games where he kind of disappeared. And you've talked in the past about rebounding as one of the keys, but what do you need to see? What did you see tonight that maybe you didn't see in some recent games beyond the obvious scoring? I mean, is there something about the way he plays, the patience when he has a good night?
Yeah, I mean, he's a young player, so young players are generally up and down, and we're looking for consistency. It's about decision making. It's about recognizing when to shoot, when to move it. Certain games are going to favor him more tonight, definitely, with all the switching and the way he was able to get to the rim. Other games with different matchups don't favor him as much, and he struggled in some of those matchups. So this is not unusual for a young player to go through ups and downs. And for us as a team, we just have to figure out each night what we need to win.
Steve, you mentioned about just having patience with the starting group, like really wanting to get that starting five that had been so good for you guys in the 5-man lineups, and we know all that from the years past. How do you balance just the patience with that versus hey, we're at the quarter mark of the season, we have to get going.
Yeah.
And essentially when you make a choice like that, what it does to people's confidence and egos.
That's coaching. That's the job right there. It's, we got all kinds of data. We can look at the analytics. We can say, well, we should play this lineup more, that lineup more. But you factor in everything. You factor in the human being. You factor in injuries. You factor in rhythm. I always feel that I want my players to know I have great confidence in them. And so I'm going to give them, a long rope, especially the guys who have, been there, done that. And so, that's the deal. We're 10-11. We got to keep going and see where this season goes. But, we have not found any clarity yet in the question you're answering. So I'm trying to keep my guys going, keep them confident, give everybody a chance, and hopefully things become more clear as we go.
You were down, I think, 6 with like 5:30 left or so, and you went to that timeout, and it seemed like that was the point you kind of had to choose your closing lineup tonight. Why did you go with the 5 you decided?
Well, JK was playing great, and he was guarding Simons, so we wanted to stay with him. And then Steph, Clay, Draymond, Wiggs, it just felt like we needed those guys out there. I mean, obviously, Steph's an automatic, but I thought Draymond was playing great, and we needed, Wiggs' athleticism, and I always have confidence that Clay's going to make a shot, and he did. He made a big three, and so every night, like I said, every night's going to be a little different, and we don't know who's going to close, but we got to figure it out as a coaching staff every game to game.
Full circle back to Slater's first question, but JK didn't check in until pretty late in the third quarter. So I'm just curious, why was it in that moment of the game you decided that you guys needed to look at something a little bit different?
Just the nature of the game, the switching, the athleticism that Portland has. We were struggling with their pressure, and we weren't scoring around the basket. So just the way they were playing, it seemed like a good game for JK to get out there and, with the switching, be able to get the ball near the rim and go up and score the way, maybe other guys couldn't. So that was the decision. And then his defense was really good on Simons. So he played well, and we just stayed with him.
But for checking him in that late into the game, was he trying to see if everyone else would kind of work their way out of it, or was it something?
It's like I said, it's hard to play 10 people. When you're trying to get guys rhythm, it's kind of 9 is a way to try to get everybody rhythm. And he was just the odd man out to start the game, but he did what every young player has to learn to do, which is stay ready and make the most of your opportunity, and he did that.
Beyond putting Kuminga in at that point, did that timeout feel sort of urgent or desperate? I mean, you had fallen down 11, 4:45 to go in the third quarter. Did it sort of feel like to you that, okay, if we don't put something together now, you're running out of time,
Yeah,
I guess?
it felt like, I mean, it was an obvious timeout to take. We were reeling. And so it wasn't, I didn't give some great speech in there. It was, it was more just, this is where you take a timeout and get everybody settled and remind them, it's 3 or 4 possessions, that's all. So we needed to buckle down defensively and rebound. We did a much better job rebounding in the second half. I don't think they had one offensive board in the second half. They had 11 in the first. So, the NBA game is so long. There's so much time. You have to play well for so long to win. But by the same token, if you're playing poorly, there's always a lot of time to get back in it, and that's what tonight felt like. Thanks.
All right, Coach, just to start off, just your thoughts on the game. Obviously hard fought, had a lead for much of it, weren't able to hold them off in the fourth.
Played a great game. I'm proud. I'm happy for us. We played a really good game. Came up short. Just got a little unlucky at the end, You got a chance. Tumani gets the rebound. He's falling out of bounds, and it's just unlucky, man. We have a chance right there to really keep pressing along. We've been in transition trying to, attack their retreating defense, which we've been great at all night. And, man, that was just a tough one.
Pretty large disparity in the amount of free throws tonight. How do you feel like your team did dealing with that?
I thought we did a good job. We this is the stuff we face every night, bro. I understand we're a young team, and we play against these veteran teams, but that shouldn't matter. I just want some consistency, man. Same things they call for the other team, I just want them to call the same calls. Just some consistency, man, and we just don't get that, and it's really frustrating. But we are a team. We're a no excuse team. Whatever hand we dealt, we just play it, and we do the best we can and see what happens.
Anthony tonight, obviously his return, a little bit of a slow start. Seemed like he kind of started to find his rhythm in the second half. Just your thoughts on how he played tonight? Yeah, I thought Ant did a good job. From being out so long, I thought his rhythm was pretty good. His wind was pretty good. Obviously we needed his shot making. Hurt us when Malcolm went out, to have another guy that can just kind of play make. Although I thought Scoot played a great game in his minutes, and everybody. I mean, Shaden was really good. We just was so short in numbers, man. Not having basically 3 starters for this game with DA and Malcolm and Jeremy was tough. It seems like Shaden is kind of putting it together consistently right now, and another really good game offensively, at least for him tonight. Kind of, how do you feel like his progression has gone in this last couple weeks, particularly when guys have come back into the lineup that it can kind of shoulder that load?
Very good. Shaden is developing fast. He's starting to see the game and see what's going on out there. He's making better reads most nights. His defense has gotten better. As guys come back into the lineup, able to alleviate some of the pressure that he has to be great every single night. Obviously tonight we needed him to be incredible, for us having so many people not playing.
We talked a lot about kind of looking forward to your center rotation this year. Tonight, completely different. You got Duop, you got Jabari. Both comported themselves really well. Just your thoughts on how both those guys played tonight. Yeah, I thought both guys played well. Wap was good. He provided some good shot making for us, but he was rolling, making good plays. He's a good basketball player. He's a pretty all around player. And then Barry as well. Barry. He's a scrapper, man. He's a scrapper. He's going to get in there. He's going to mix it up. I thought defensively he did a good job. Offensively, I thought he did a good job. They was playing kind of blitzing Ant a lot or playing at the level. He did a good job being a secondary playmaker. And those dudes haven't really been in these positions, that much. And so I thought both of them played very well, And like you said, I mean, we didn't know that we would play a lineup like this all season, but guys stayed ready. And again, we play the cards we dealt, man, and we just go out there and play as hard as we can. gut.